Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a beautiful Saturday. Wherever you are, we thank you for making us part of your day. I'm Aaron Phillips. That is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Matt Mullen. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How about you?
You know what? I had a very good week. If it was any better, they'd have to arrest me. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, in his absence, we talked about this last week, the Chief, the man, the living legend, who's become such an integral part of the show over the last couple of months, is not here today. We had a guest lined up, and of course, as most star guests are, they like to run on their own clock. So we're waiting for him.
We're going to start without me.
What?
You give me the wrong address. I know what y'all were doing. You wanted to start without me. You don't want me coming in here and taking over the show, but you know what? I found it. I'm here now, and you're not going to get rid of me.
Well, the tracker
didn't work.
It didn't work. No, exactly. We tried. We wanted to test your ability to get to where you needed to be on your own, sir. And very well done. Thank you. Matt Roblez joins us. The man himself joins us now, and we thank you, sir. I know you're a very busy man with all that's going on in the wrestling world and Sam and all that stuff, but we appreciate you taking time today.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a great opportunity. It's awesome. Thank you very much.
What brings you to Vegas, by the way? Is he matching tonight? I mean, you got FSW women's shirt on. What's going on? Or
Tonight
you just chilling?
Tonight is a FSW network exclusive, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing, but I am here for that.
Oh.
And so if you want to come down to the FSW arena, show up, tell them that MK sent you, and we'll let you in. It's kind of a private event.
They're not going to give us seats next to the kitchen or something if we mention your name.
No,
are they?
I have a seat for you. It has a hole in it. And,
okay.
And it's,
well, you get pretty good reception in there.
Right.
Okay.
And I have we have a camera in there.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Go
to camera 2, please.
Yeah. But turn down the sound.
Yeah, definitely turn down the sound. Well, listen, Matt, in all seriousness, we thank you for taking time.
Really.
You were on with us a couple of weeks ago while you were driving. Everybody loved the interview.
Thank you.
There you go.
There you go.
They caught me in one of my past showings at FSW, apparently. Unfortunately, we had some tech issues where we wanted to get you on video. But everybody loved the interview and time that you spent with us. So we said,
wonderful.
You know what? Let's make this happen. You happen to be here in town for other purposes. Mm-hmm. And thanks to Chief, we made the connection. So we're so happy to have you here. The good thing is, dude, you're our special guest host. We're not changing our format. You're chiming in. You're saying what you got to say, and you're going to help us get the show going.
Thank you.
Just a couple of things to our Chief is in the Chief's already in the chat room. If you want to call and talk to Matt, ask a question, whatever you want. We want to get your feedback on a lot of stuff. We have a huge run sheet today. 702-329-6947. Please press the number 1 to get right to the studio. If you're outside the United States, please dial 855-502-4321. You can also use Twitter using the hashtag ThoughtsCount anywhere. And, of course, chat rooms are being monitored as we speak. But we would love to hear your voice right here on the telephone.
But if they call in from outside the states, they have to quarantine for 14 days. Isn't that how it works?
On the call line, yes.
Yeah.
We have to keep them on hold.
Well, because we got to do this safe, social distance. So if they call in from Canada, they actually have to quarantine, I think.
That is very true.
Yeah, we'll get to you March 14th-ish.
Exactly. A couple of shout-outs in the chat room. Good morning to Angie Hill from Park City, Utah.
Yeah.
She's listening. The aforementioned Chief. And, of course, Garth Wall is listening today. He had an interesting situation today, this past week when we were talking. Now with the quarantine and COVID stuff, when you go test drive a car, basically now the potential buyer takes the car on their own. There's no more salesperson in the car, right? So, first of all, that would be a worry to me that the person just drives the hell off with the car, even though their license and everything is left behind.
Oh, my God, yeah.
But here's the other thing that happened. Garth had a client. They took the car out, and apparently they turned the wrong way on a street, which should have been this way, and they went this way. Right. T-boned the car.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, there's a headache for you, So
Be like, guess what you're buying today?
Oh, my God.
The paperwork's already ready.
Oh, my God. That's one way to get a sale.
Exactly. That's right. It's, you break it, you buy it rule, right?
Well, that would actually be a good technique because, you just have one of your buddies driving around in one of the used cars that doesn't quite get working. When you see the test drive guy come out, go after him, and then when you nail him, it's like, well, you just bought yourself a car.
There you go. Smack up derby.
And then that car becomes the next one that you see.
Keeps getting rotated. Meantime, their insurance rates, AAA's on the phone. What are you doing? All right, let's get started. We got a lot going on, which means it's time for some rumors, and it's I Hear Voices. All right, not said to me, but rumors, Retribution will be breaking up soon.
Oh, darn.
In my opinion. I think that seems to be the sentiment all across the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What was your thoughts about Retribution when they first started it?
It had a lot of potential, but it's it's easy to sit here and criticize. But in all honesty, you see so much potential and you see everything that's going on, and then it's like when you light a match. It goes, and then it just kind of
right.
And that's kind of how I felt about it.
Came out quick.
Yep.
Like a lot of stars who come up from NXT.
Yeah.
They get that quick hit and then that's it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to read quickly the Twitter feeds there that are coming through. But I saw one. I thought somebody was asking a question, so hopefully that'll recycle back
Please
through.
give us the match we want to see at WrestleMania.
Oh, there you go.
Cross versus Finn Balor.
Yeah. Thoughts on that?
I'll give Vince a call after this.
Please do. Yes, I know you have that kind of.
No,
pull.
that would be a great match, wouldn't it?
Yeah, especially if he comes out as the Demon.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You
That would
know?
be really cool. I'd love it.
From what I've heard, there's people high up petitioning for that.
Yeah.
Really.
Interesting. Well, listen, locally, we all hope that it happens.
Yes,
of course.
definitely.
So that would be.
It couldn't happen. The old saying, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. But in all seriousness, it really couldn't happen to a
Right.
nicer guy. Really, when you really think about it.
I've had the pleasure of interviewing
Yeah.
Carrion back in the day on a couple of different shows
Sure.
that I did, and it was an experience, intense, but still, to see a local product, as we know, through FSW and some of the other work that he's done, he's long, in my opinion, long overdue for that
Oh yeah,
opportunity.
and the thing about him is he's one of the good ones. I do this every weekend all over the country, and you have a short list of people that are the good ones, and he is definitely one of the good ones.
Oh, by the way, I was just reminded there that today is also Garth's birthday.
Oh, can
So
I sing happy
I believe,
birthday?
yeah, absolutely. He came in saying, "I want to sing." So here
Yeah.
you go, Garth. Garth, this is for you, bud.
Happy birthday. Fuck you.
There you go. The shortened version by Matt Roblez. You got to love it. So happy birthday and enjoy it. And we thank you for making us part of your day as you celebrate. All right, next topic. Next topic. Ding. There you go. Maybe we do need to get James in here. Rumor of Asuka versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. Anybody surprised, first of all, that this was eventually going to happen?
No, is inevitable.
Right? What's your thought on Asuka as the way she's being portrayed as either one of you as a champion? I mean, she's got the belt, and it's like she swept under the carpet and
She
forgotten
hasn't
about.
defended that thing in a while. She's been just worried about tag team stuff with Charlotte, so it was a matter of time before that kind of stuff exploded.
Right.
So I figured as soon as they were put as a tag team, I was like, Charlotte's gonna turn on her and win the women's title. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what's about to happen.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think that's what I think the whole booking of wrestling in general is to not give you what you want and make you want it more.
Right.
And I think that's kind of the reason why it's kind of coming to that is you see it, you want it, and every time you do this, they pull a little further,
Like a
little
tease.
further. Yep, and then it's like the little dollar bill on the fishing, and then by the time you get that dollar bill, you're so happy, even though it's only $1. That's what I kind of think. That's kind of how I think that WWE's been operating for probably the past 4 or 5 years.
Right.
I was listening to JR's podcast, and someone who was saying Vince never listens to the fans, and he's like, no, Vince, he really does. But sometimes he'll give you what you want, and sometimes he'll pull it back a little farther to make you watch.
Right.
To be like, how much worse is this going to get, or when are we going to get what we want?
Right. Because I think it was a little bit of a slap in the face to Asuka and the title, the fact that she was pulled from Elimination Chamber, period. Now, granted, the story with Lacey Evans and, being pregnant, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. There could have been something that they could have done, even as a dream matchup kind of thing. And even if you make it non-title, I don't care. But to have her not even show up, and they've really made her a cartoon.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Bianca Belair picked Sasha, because I think the Raw title, regardless of this rumor, is so unimportant right now for the women.
Agreed.
So, all right, next topic. Yes, Thomas, we know. Good morning, Miss Krista. We are aware that we need a real bell ringer, and we're working on that as soon as we get a real bell. Too.
Applications can be sent to info@thoughtscountanywhere.com.
Absolutely.
If you want to donate a bell.
Well, if you want to donate a bell, I had one donated. Unfortunately, that individual had to take it home. It belongs to his father. So if anybody's got a bell they want to donate, we'll be happy to take it.
Well, Garth is a ding bell.
Oh, I don't know how many hits to the head he'll take, though, before.
If he shakes his head, does it really make a noise?
Yes,
That's
we could put
Especially if nobody's in the
Here's what
room.
it is: you drill a hole in the thing, and he just has his head here, and then you whack him.
Like whack-a-mole.
Yes, and when he comes up, he goes ding.
Garth, 702-329-6947. Press 1 if you want to get back there at those comments. All right. Brock Lesnar returning at WrestleMania 37. Any ideas? Is that's a rumor, but do we know if so? They don't have a whole lot of time left to build a story for him to come back. They got 6 weeks roughly, right?
Who knows if they're going to build a story? Sometimes
just have him crash or something.
Well, yeah, back in the WCW days, Eric Bischoff did a lot of market research on wrestling, and because he had the money and the budget to do it. And he said that at the time, he said several times, that the one thing that wrestling fans love is the surprise, the swerves.
Sure.
And so, drop the rumor. And is he or isn't he? Is he or isn't he? And even if he doesn't, that's a surprise. If he does, that's a surprise. So it could be that they maybe they don't want to build a story, and they want to make it a surprise one way or the other.
Right, the old swerve.
Because here's the thing: is it brings up the talking points for us. Like, oh my gosh, he showed up and da 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 da. Or then we talk the next thing. Well, you know what? He didn't show up. Why? Why didn't he show up? And so, but the point is, WWE's still relevant.
And that individual then maintains relevancy as well because everybody's talking about him.
And so there you go. The fact that we're talking about it means they must be doing something right.
Can you imagine just to troll fans? He just runs in at the main event of WrestleMania and just destroys everybody, and the main event just cuts off and the show goes off the air.
And you know what? I could actually see that happening. If they're not going to build a story,
it'd have to be something.
And he does return, it has to be something where he comes in and messes something up.
If you thought people were mad over the streak ending, if he just ruined the main event of WrestleMania and left,
my goodness,
people would lose their minds.
Another hello.
Twitter would go crazy.
Yeah, there you go. Another hello out to you, Tor. Karen is listening.
Nice.
There you go.
Woohoo.
So that's 2 friends of yours we know are watching.
Yeah,
what's your limit of friends by? What do you got, 5, 6?
Yeah, let's see. I got to take my pants off.
Oh, God, never mind. Okay. Listen, I'm going to go to break a few minutes early because we have a lot to talk about. Elimination Chamber, the reports. We got awards that were handed out. I want to make sure we leave enough time to cover all of that. Okay. That's why you need to have your chat up. But anyway.
Oh, sorry.
No. Read that one right there. Anyway, You're listening to Thoughts Count Anywhere. That's Matt. That's another Matt filling in for Chief. I'm Aaron. We'll be back in about 60 seconds.
It's not the worst podcast ever, is it? It's the best podcast. Thoughts count anywhere. All your wrestling news, all your hobbit hey, all your gimmickry. Go on over, listen wherever your podcasts are downloaded. The Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. I'm the big LG Doc Ellis. That's my endorsement. Booyah!
This is John Cena. I just wanted to send you a congratulations on your podcast, Thoughts Count Anywhere. Because indeed they do. Thoughts are important. I mean, what would we do without them? And how can they not count anywhere? Is there a place that thoughts don't count? I can't think of one. Well, I just wanted to say thank you very much, congratulations, and good luck on the podcast. Thoughts count anywhere, because they do.
Oh, sometimes the conversations during commercial breaks, they're the ones we wish we could air and record. Anyway, welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere. Matt Squared, Matt and Aaron, we're here to bring some interesting conversation from the world of professional wrestling. Now, during the break, Mr. Matt, there was a comment that came in from one Garth. Wants to know, where's your tracksuit today?
Well, I left it at his mom's house because she had to wash it because she wiped her chin off with it.
Oh, okay. What?
And but don't worry, I'll have it before tonight.
Okay. Yeah, what's your? I
want before or after the Clinton documentary.
That's a good one.
We want to give a shout out to the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, which many people think we're unprofessional, but I guess it really is a podcast called that.
Yes,
We thank you for chiming in with your comment, and thank you for watching. We appreciate it for sure. All right, let's go into results about the Elimination Chamber last week. Overall, was one of the shortest pay-per-views that I think anybody had in recent memory. Was it like 6 matches? I don't understand why there wasn't a women's chamber. That I was disappointed to read during that week prior. But Daniel Bryan won the SmackDown Chamber match and then was quickly annihilated by Bobby Lashley and Roman, and that storyline continued yesterday. But just your thoughts on the Chamber match itself. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, it was great. It told a story. It was technical. What more do you need, really? I mean, I think the thing I like about what they're doing now is they're giving a little bit of everything for everyone, and that's what I like. It's not they're not just angling towards the hardcore fans, or they're not angling towards the indie guys. They're actually giving us something that we all like, appreciate.
But what's your thoughts though? And I'm sorry, Matt. I know,
You're fine.
you got six guys in the match.
Yeah.
all former champions.
Right.
This was in the Raw one, but
in the Raw, yeah.
But people were talking about why are get some of these younger guys in there instead of just going back to the reliable older guys. I mean, do we really want to see, with all due respect to the guys that were in that match, somebody like, I don't know, pick one, Sheamus, and I'm just using his name in an example, to wear the belt again potentially, okay, versus, I don't know, let's say Damian Priest, who just got called up, something like give him a chance, or at least get him in the match. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't win, he doesn't win, but we got to start highlighting these guys, yes?
I agree. I mean, this business has survived for the hundreds of years because the people who are, I don't know what to say, the people that have been in the business longer than others are keeping the business alive by bringing up the younger generation. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's the workers' fault, and I'm not trying to say that they're not getting out of the way for the young talent. I'm not saying that. I think that some of the old school rules and the old school stuff has been lost, and it's mainly just I'm not going to take a risk. We don't want to take a risk. But one thing that I wondered why the WWE doesn't do something, if I may for a minute,
please,
is you bring up a very good point. We've got so much Twitter and social media platforms. Why aren't the fans choosing who's in these matches? And even if it's a work, even if WWE already knows who's going to be in the match,
right? Why
are they not launching the Peacock Network something by saying you pick the match, and even if it's a work, how do we know that they're not? I would, if I were booking it, I would just book whoever I wanted to,
sure.
but make the fans involved, because then you feel that you're involved. And I don't know why they don't do something like that.
I know they used to with like Cyber Sunday,
right? That's what I'm
back
saying.
in the day, and it was. As soon as they'd open the polls, they'd be like, "Yeah, I want to see this. I want to see this."
But didn't they do that on Raw for a while? Where
yeah.
When I'm trying to think who was the general manager, it might have been Bischoff or whoever was back in the day, that you could say, who do you want so and so to face in their match coming up later today?
Yeah.
So they did some of that years ago.
Yeah, but they haven't. But I'm saying even more so now, because look at the formats that they've got.
Yeah. Right. No, absolutely. That's a great interaction is better. By the way, Mr. Wall responded to your comment about the tracksuit. He says his mama said she wants her money back, but I don't know what that means.
Well, at least he admits it.
Well, there you go.
At least he admits it.
That's it. He also goes on to say, is there one talent, male or female, that you would love to be managing right now in either NXT or WWE across the board?
Oh, well, here's the thing is I had such good heat with Cross at FSW. Mm-hmm. I really, really felt we had good chemistry. And if I would be so bold as to think that I think he and I could probably really make money together.
That would be cool. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah.
Karen says we should choose matches like the football league that's out there now.
Yes,
as they choose
FCL,
the plays.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great comparison. It would be interesting. All right. Next topic under Elimination Chamber, of course, as we said, as soon as that match was over, Daniel Bryan won. Roman Reigns' music hit. Came in within like 60 seconds, took care of Daniel Bryan. Although at first, Bryan played a little possum to try to get him in the submission hold. Mm-hmm. That didn't last very long. Couple of moves, and in 60 seconds, the match was over. Now, the storyline last night, Bryan came out and said, look, it doesn't take a man to come out and beat somebody who's just gone through 60 minutes of hell, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes on his story, and then he got super kicked later on and all that other stuff. So, I don't know. I was hoping that the match would have taken place a little later in the card for that very reason, to make it a decent match. I just shook my head. I'm like, I thought it was garbage, but I understand the storyline plot.
You know what? On a side note, I don't understand if let me put it this way. If I'm going to surprise someone and attack them, the last thing in the world I'm going to tell the guy to do is to play my music. Right. Does anybody else think about that when you do this surprise attack? You come from the entrance to your music. I mean, is that really a surprise?
Right, no, it's certainly not.
I remember that's like, I always listen to like Jim Cornette's podcast, and that's like the one thing he always bitches about. And I was like, yeah, that is true. When like somebody comes out to like attack somebody, did you get like forewarn the music guy that you were coming out already?
And there's pyros.
Well, but let's talk about what happened right after that.
Yeah.
Edge came in. we didn't hear his music because it came in through the crowd.
Right. See?
So there you go. So that's a great example because
It's not hard to sneak by computer screens.
Well, that is true. That is very true. But they didn't play the music, right? So, but that's a great example of creating that surprise for even the fans.
Oh,
that
yeah.
element of surprise is gone once you hear the music.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Do you remember the time that Mick Foley, as a sidetrack thing, when Mick Foley was hiding under the ring because he was going to do some prize thing, and then the power went out on the pay-per-view?
Oh,
and
yes.
He thought that he was like rolling around there trying to get comfortable, and he said he bumped something just as the power, and he thought he did it.
Oh, he rolled over the power switch.
Yeah, he
Turn
thought,
it back on.
Yeah, and he's like, oh. But he literally, in some of these interviews, anyway, I'm sorry, that's a sidetrack.
But
it's a funny
though.
story.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next topic. Matt Riddle defeated Lashley and Morrison to win the U.S. Championship. Look, Riddle has had his issues with the Hurt Business, but he didn't pin Lashley. And I know that's the purpose of the triple threat. He beat Morrison, which is why those two went back at it the next night. I think Lashley's probably finally going and getting the push that everybody wanted him to have the first time.
Yep.
Matt Riddle doesn't impress me. I was asked yesterday about a list and whatnot, and I chimed in there. I'm not convinced Riddle is where he should be. I'm not a fan of his. But nonetheless, after chasing down the title, he finally has it. Thoughts on him winning, Matt?
I'll tell you what. It's hard for me because I see these people, and like I haven't known Matt like personally, but I've seen him at the Monster Factory shows, and so I have a different perspective. So to me, I think it's great. And so it's hard for me to step back and say, look at it from your guys' perspective, because sometimes I know these guys, and so, but I love it because I think it's finally getting to the point where he needs to be. That's where I think.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a fan of Matt Riddle since he started in the UFC. So, seeing him come up in wrestling, seeing him perform in Vegas a couple times. He's always been a super cool dude.
Yeah, exactly.
He is just like he is on fucking TV.
There is no
character.
character.
Every other word. It's just Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
There's no character behind that. But it's cool to see such a cool dude get a spot like he has. So I was happy to see it.
How long is the jumping flip-flop off my feet thing going to continue in his entrance?
Right?
Permanently?
Yeah. Question in the chat room actually for you from Karen up in Utah. How did you learn to be a heel? Film study? How did you build this character?
Well, honestly, it was SVU. The original character, kind of came from the criminal defense attorneys. You would always, there would be some, rapist or something like that, and then the guy that would come in the room with the blue little piece of paper, and I always thought that those guys were the best heels because they were not heels. They were just doing their job. And so as a heel, I don't try and be the Snidely Whiplash, twisting I'm doing my job for what's best for my client and for myself. And I kind of learned that from starting to watch SVU. And then of course you watch Bubba back in ECW, and and working with him in Destiny Wrestling. How can you not learn from that guy? He is the best thing that's ever happened in my life, from the standpoint of wrestling. And that's that. Once I got that little nugget, and then he gave me the thing, I blew up. And so Bubba was influential, but it started with just watching SVU.
So usually most characters are based on something that they see or they develop within themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually like yourself turned up to 100.
Right.
Yeah. Or like the best characters.
Well, and that's the thing is I like to joke around a lot. I tease Garth all the time. And truth be told, and to break kayfabe, he's a great guy. And so as a buddy sitting around having beer, you do the whole that's what she said joking with each other.
Right.
So I've kind of turned that to, instead of just like if I said that to you jokingly, you kind of chuckle. But if I say it to you aggressively, then it's like, whoa. And that's kind of what I've done is I've taken my personality of joking and saying that's what she said type stuff to, and your mother this, to more of an attack. And then people are like, whoa, he's serious. And that's kind of how I've turned my own personality into a heel personality.
Right. And you have to step it up. You have to go outside your comfort zone and be someone that you're not normally. And like Matt said, exponentially.
Yeah, I mean, when you book MK, you get MK. I mean, it's like I'll go to Columbine, and I got thrown off of a show because they asked me to do something crazy, so I went to Columbine, and I said I'm at the spot of the world's first anti-bullying campaign, and if you don't want people to shoot up guys, and it was just terrible, but anyway.
Garth, by the way,
is said Columbine. I was like, I already know where this is.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible.
Garth, enjoy your birthday, man. We'll talk next week. So he's chiming out and moving on to his family today. Good job. Happy birthday, Garth.
Happy birthday, Garth.
All right, let's move on. Jackson Baszler defeated Banks and Belair to retain the women's championship. There's no surprise there. The only thing I had hoped for is that maybe Sasha Banks would be 2 belts Banks because there's still going to be that underlying comparison between her and Bayley. Mm-hmm. But obviously we know.
Was that a placeholder match? Did you feel that?
Yes.
I kind of got that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything with Nia Jax in it is a placeholder match.
Well, that entire whole match was a place thing, right? It was a whole match.
Yeah.
We missed
had a good couple holes in it.
Yes, it did. The match had a few holes in it. Anyway, but yes, I did think it was just a filler match because obviously this past week we saw why.
Yep.
Belair came out and selected Sasha for WrestleMania. Okay, Drew McIntyre won his Elimination Chamber match for Raw. And then after really being upset losing the title, Lashley came out, destroyed Drew, laid him to waste. And then we have the cash-in that has been the longest waiting expected cash-in by anybody. And once we heard it and saw it, we talked about it last week here on the show. Chief called it that he was going to come out and cash in.
It was awesome.
Now, you talk about a placeholder match, just reading some of the stories online. He's not expected to have a long reign with the title. My guess is that something will happen between now and WrestleMania, and somebody else will have the belt at WrestleMania. So, again, was this obviously just a placeholder title switch?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's very obvious. I don't know where they're going with it, but I mean, with all respect to the workers involved, I kind of think that it was something that had to happen to lead to something at WrestleMania.
It sucks Miz is going to be a transitional champion. That dude's been so good for so many years. It's a shame.
It was like 10 years to the day.
Yeah, it's been 10 years since he's been WWE champion.
Isn't that crazy?
He's always the first one there, the last one to leave, does all the media for everything.
He's a great guy.
He's a cool dude and freaking – he deserves to have like a long reign as champion.
Do you have one of his chick magnet shirts?
Maybe.
Was that the awful worst shirt of all time?
Pretty much.
Especially as a father of daughters. Anyway, 702-329-6947. Press 1. Please join the conversation by giving us a call. 702-329-6947. The phone numbers are right there on your screen, 855-502-4321. And please visit thoughtscountanywhere.com and click on the shop tab because you, too, can be outfitted like myself, although I shouldn't stand up, but there you go, a T-shirt. Matt's got our sweatshirt on. And, of course, if you're on the go, like Garth is leaving, you can certainly download the Go Live Vegas mobile app. Take us on the go on your phone. I'll tell you what, this past week I've gotten to the habit of I pulled up the app and I was listening to music while I've been in the classroom, getting things set up. Let me tell you, I'm hitting the time right because the music that's coming up on the Go Live Vegas app, and I'm not just saying this because I texted him during the week, I'm loving the music that I'm hearing at that time of day. Tune in for music. Just pull it up on the app and let music go with you. Anyway, so you're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere, and we appreciate you tuning in. All right, next topic. Let's see what topics of WWE Report we have left that we want to talk about. So with Miz winning the belt, I think there would have been an initial potential storyline between him and Morrison. I would think that might have been somewhere that they're going. But, Matt, it appears that maybe Morrison hurt his knee this past week.
Yeah, he posted like a video of like flips he was working on, and he was like working on doing that flip. That's why he did it, but he landed like super hard on his knee, which everyone's giving him shit about. But let anybody on Twitter try to do that.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Exactly. You take a stab at
That
it.
dude's like superhuman sometimes.
At least he's not like Gus Farrat. Remember when he headbutted the wall and broke his neck?
Yes. Yes, that was against the Giants on a Monday Night Football game. He went into the head. I was at a restaurant with my dad watching it. Yeah, he just boom, and then against my on Monday Night Football, no less. And then, of course, in conjunction with John Morrison, Taya Valkyrie signs with WWE, and the class that's going in now to the Performance Center is crazy because now it's got like Brock Lesnar's doppelganger, right? Parker Boudreaux, is that how we pronounce his last name?
I think so, yeah.
He signed, so he's going to be down there. You have a couple of other well-known names going down there. Eli Drake or whatever his new LA Express, is that what it is?
LA Knight.
There you go. Yeah. I wonder if he asked the Knights for that right to use that name. Anyway, so there's a big class.
Yeah, it's a great class. It's one of the. I really believe like it's going to be. You know, as a sports guy, you look at the draft when the NFL draft when Elway and all these guys go in there. I think we're going to see this honestly as one of those type of drafts, if you will, or acquiring or whatever as because all these guys are so proven and the fans love them so much and they're so over and they're just good people. And I really think we're going to look at this and go, wow, that was incredible.
Even like the last class, like Lacey Ryan, that was our FSW women's champion. She went against the NXT women's champion.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Ryan held her own, so she's in for like a big push, it looks like.
From the 801.
Yeah.
That's the Lacey Ryan started in Salt Lake City, Utah.
There you go. Mm-hmm. As I look up at the clock, you know what time it is. I almost went past it. Normally the Chief at this time has a couple of minutes to get stuff off of his chest. We call that the Chief's rant. Well, today we're going to have a little tweak to that. The upcoming segment we're now going to call the Heels Rant. And so we're going to hear from Matt with something he wants to get off his chest. Are we playing the intro? All right, please hit it if you would.
Okay, so here's my rant. It really drives me nuts when I see the WWE come to town, any town, it could be any town, and they have 5,000 to 10,000 people showing up to the WWE. And what ends up happening is an indie show barely can get 100 people. Now, how is it that you can have 5,000, 10,000 people show up at a WWE show, but you only get 100, 200, 300 at an indie show? Well, it's not that the promoters are not doing their jobs. It's the fans are not fans, they're marks. And I'm sorry, if you're going to say you're a wrestling fan, then you really need to support the whole body of wrestling. Because there are so many people out there laying the foundation for the people that you see that you're paying your money for at WWE shows that you need to support. Because for every one of those superstars, there's guys you've never heard of putting them over night after night in front of 100, 200 people. Those are the people that build them up to put them where they are. There aren't enhancement talent anymore like back in the day. The enhancement talent are the indie guys and the indie shows. So the fans out there can't just go to the WWE show and say, I'm a wrestling fan. And lastly, you guys have your merch. I have my merch. That is the lifeblood of any of the podcasts or indie workers. My hat, my shirt, everything like that. You'll pay $30 for a WrestleMania shirt, but you're not going to pay $15 to support a guy that's driving 12 hours to have 12 minutes in the ring? It's despicable. And I want to challenge all you wrestling fans out there that call yourselves wrestling fans. You better be going to those indie shows. And if you can't make the show, at the very least, put it out on your social media and advertise these shows and tell people about independent professional wrestling. Because if you don't support independent professional wrestling, in my opinion, you're not a fan, you're a mark.
There you have it. Well said. Thomas Burnett, one of our fan favorites, totally agrees. Mike Halverson suggests that you should call everybody fat jugheads. Right?
I'll do that.
Do you know Mike Halverson?
I do.
There you go. He has a business here in town. He's a friend of the show's. I know him well.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
Yeah, there you go. So Matt Halverson says hi.
Excellent.
Jughead.
There we go.
Fat jug. I haven't heard that in like forever.
I know, right?
Shows my age and his, I guess. But he agrees. Okay, Tom, Chief wants to know, where's your next show?
My next show is going to be tonight. I guess technically. And then March 13th in Salt Lake City, Utah. And then we're talking to Joe DeFalco about the next one of these.
Right on.
And so that's Future Stars of Women's Wrestling is going to be coming up sometime in March. And then Sam Adonis and Psycho Clown have been fighting all over this country, and we're trying to find the next location for the Sam Adonis Psycho Clown match, which is, if you follow Lucha Libre, it is the hottest angle in Mexico right now.
Just do it in a parking lot. Who needs an arena?
That's not a bad idea.
Have a few cameras. Just get it on in a park.
If you watch the stuff from Dallas, it was pretty much like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right. Just want to remind everybody. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say. I say we have it in Vegas, and you have Sam Adonis on one side of this desk and Psycho Clown on the other. And let him go at it.
Is he well insured?
Yeah, right. Well, earlier this week on the Fresco show, Fresco was attacked in studio. I saw the video of it.
Wow.
He got super kicked right here in the middle.
Oh,
of the,
wow. I didn't. Oh, wow.
And Aaron, our poor producer, because he's got a big monitor here on the front, he was afraid that the kick almost took the monitor down.
Oh.
So I think he may think twice the next time about using the studio that way. A couple of comments
We
here.
don't have to let him know beforehand.
Oh, that's true. Mike wants to know, how can we go to FSW show? I would say go on to Facebook, look up Future Stars of Wrestling under events. I know it's out there because I checked off on it. And then Chief wants to know, for that shirt that you have, how much?
They're $20, and you can get them at the FSW Arena anytime.
Pull up your mic a little bit because we got a shot on the T-shirt. Just pull your mic up because Aaron has played with the. There you just straight ahead.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. I thought you were professional.
I know,
behind
right?
camera.
Well, I'm a radio guy.
I know,
That's the thing, is that they don't ask me to face the camera. I got a face for a radio show.
Exactly. Well, that's why we do it this way, and then the camera just happens to follow us along. All right, let's move on to another topic. I want to kind of. Wow, we're down to 20 minutes left. My goodness. Thoughts on the Young Rock show? Have you guys watched that? The show on NBC, the first 2 shows.
I have, and I love it. It's a good. I like it.
It's a good show.
I do.
Yeah.
I found the second episode not as good as the first, in my opinion, because I want to see more of the behind-the-scenes wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
But I get the show is focused on him as a young boy coming up in the business. But seeing the actors that they have portray those guys.
Isn't that crazy?
Holy
Isn't that
cow.
crazy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, it's doppelganger time.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
people were talking shit about the guy playing Andre, and I'm like,
No,
that's as close as you can get.
Yeah,
Like,
without genetically altering someone to look like Andre.
Right.
I was like, unless NBC's got a lot of money to genetically mess with somebody, that's as close as you can get.
You know, it's going to be interesting to see in 20 years what those guys look like, to see if they grew up to look like, kind of like we do with the Hot for Teacher video.
Exactly.
Van Halen.
Exactly. They're absolutely right. The guy who plays Andre, a former professional football player, but if you watch the NCIS series with Mark Harmon, there was that crew that came over from Europe because they were trying to chase down the Portugal or whatever it was killer, and he, the actor, was part of that team that came over. So that's for you NCIS buffs, and I have no time in my life. That's why I know stupid stuff like that. But anyway, all right, let's move on to AEW Impact Ring of Honor. Look, the biggest news outside of WWE, the Big Show, Paul White signs with AEW this week. Surprised, not surprised. His contract supposedly ran out in January when he did the reunion show, and he had that 3-second bit with Randy Orton.
I was super surprised. It just said Paul White signed with AEW.
I thought it was fake.
Like, who's another Paul White I know of?
Yeah, I thought it was fake. I really did. I thought it was a fan-made thing, like they were suggesting. Because you know how the fans will put someone's picture, some indie guy, and say, you should. That I honestly thought that what it was until I checked 3 sources. I was shocked.
There were so many of those fake I'm Elite
Yeah.
pictures out there now.
I saw one with Betty White. She signed with AEW.
Somebody made one a bunch last night. It was Stone Cold, Rock, with a bunch of different Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Oh, wow.
I saw one, they called it Little E, but it was Alfonso Ribeiro from the first Prince of Bel-Air. He was dressed, they had him in one of E's vests, so it was pretty funny.
I thought it was fake, but
yeah, I did
since
too.
I got a hold of somebody in AEW for interviews for here, we're on their press thing.
Right.
And I got the email and I was like, oh, it is real.
Oh, there you go. Well, listen, we got it right from AEW, then that certainly captures it. I was surprised, but he spent 20 years with WWE. For whatever the reason, they could not come to an agreement. Show was not happy, called the bluff, and went on.
It may not even be he's not happy. It may just be a handshake thing because, and a lot of these things are legacy type deals in terms of it's how much money can I make, and it's probably no hard feelings. It's just it's the old Krusty the Clown. They drove a dump truck full of money up to my driveway. I'm not made of stone.
He just found a billionaire that'd pay him more money.
Yeah.
With the whole thing of AEW, I just want to see the visual of him and Marco Stunt in the same ring.
Yes.
I want to see him put his hand around his neck and watch his fingers touch. What I think he's actually going to debut, though, is they're having Shaq and a Cody match next week. And there's been talks of Shaq versus Big Show for years.
Yeah.
Well, if they don't bring him out during that tag match, they just need to get rid of him right on the spot because they're doing it wrong.
Totally agree. Plus, they also signed him for some commentary as well.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's mainly what. I don't think he's going to be too active.
No,
I wouldn't think so.
Everybody's shocked to hear. Also chiming in with us about being shocked to hear of the signing. All right, let's see. Tony Khan is waiting for Zelina Vega's 90-day no-compete to expire so that he does want to talk to her about joining AEW. Impact makes Moose's TNA championship that he's been around his waist for a year an official championship. What were they waiting for?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the most random thing I think of the week.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I love Impact. I've worked with Impact. I just sometimes scratch my head.
Yeah. Well, I
Tessa's
think
still the world heavyweight champion. I don't care what anybody says.
Kelly Klein files lawsuit against Ring of Honor for employment discrimination.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean,
what was the reason behind the discrimination? Because I did not see the full report. What was she accusing them of doing? Not including her in giving her chances.
Exactly. It's just like any people sometimes forget that like the persona of wrestling as the public perceives it is a bunch of guys wanting to go out there and fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
And but people forget that it's actually a business, and you're either an independent contractor or an employee.
Yeah.
And so you have the same rights just as anybody else. And so I applaud her for calling them out. And I mean, I own a business, my shoot job. If I'm doing wrong, someone needs to call me out. And I'm not siding with anybody. I'm just merely stating that that's her right. And I'm glad she's empowered in the day and age we are to be able to do something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. We talked about Shaq and Cody. I don't think that's going to be much to do about nothing. Somebody's going to step in and take care of that. Shaq running around the ring, it's not like he was at WrestleMania or whatever it was, or WCW many, many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect it.
Dennis Rodman's going to come out.
In a dress.
And do some club him.
I don't expect much.
No.
I don't either. I don't think Shaq's going to get like a lot involved, but I think it's going to end with like Paul White coming out.
Yeah, that's you're probably right, and there'll be a standoff or something like that.
Set up for like a pay-per-view or something.
Last note, NWA wrestler Josephus Hudson passed away. So we want to send our condolences. Did you know him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Here's the problem: is it's really easy to say I know him.
Right.
I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh yeah, I knew him. He's a great friend.
You more knew of him.
I knew of him, and I've been on shows with him, and I've shaken his hand, and it's just sad. It's just heartbreaking.
Right. How old was he? Did the article say? Do you remember?
I don't recall.
I don't remember.
He wasn't old.
I was just curious.
I don't think I know he wasn't as old as me. It was just sad.
How old are you? If I don't,
that's fine. I turned 52 in June.
Shit, I'm still the old man on this fucking set. I should have looked as lucky at 52 as you do. I'll tell you that much.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to some award notices. There's a little time lapse between the end of my finger and pointing to him to ring the bell. Wrestling Observer 2020 awards announced, so I'm just going to go through these, and then after that,
some of these are wild. That's why I put it on there.
Yeah.
Wrestler of the Year, John Moxley, really no surprise. Female Wrestler of the Year, Bailey, no surprise. Tag Team of the Year, Young Bucks. Most Outstanding Stiller of the Year, Kenny Omega. I think that was supposed to say wrestler.
Can I say something?
Please, yeah.
Do you think there'll be a day when they will not have a female Wrestler of the Year and they just have a Wrestler of the Year that could be male or female? Because if we're talking about integration of the sport, and these female athletes, in my opinion, are as important as the male athletes, I would think that one day that you wouldn't want to discriminate.
So let me throw that question back at you. In order to make it one Wrestler of the Year title?
Oh, really?
What, Bad Bunny? Yeah. Folks, on my camera, on the wide shot, you see behind me a new feature that has been built in is a widescreen. It's a widescreen TV, and this was from Raw this past week, and now we're seeing Bad Bunny come up on the stage. But in order for that to happen, where you just have a wrestler, do you not think, though, men and women have to wrestle together and make a best wrestler?
Not necessarily, because you can be the best. You can be the best wrestler and still be a female in wrestling females, because it's all about how over you are and all that good stuff. And I really think if we're going to talk about no discrimination, we're going to talk about it's all equality, then you get rid of the gender titles.
I think we'd have to see that more in the major sports.
Agreed.
Teams like baseball. I mean, we know there's female officials now.
Yep.
We have a call.
It'd have to be like
I
the
know
Mr.
this
Potato Head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I heard about that. What is that?
We have a caller on the line. Of course, we lovingly know him as Chief. Chief is on the line. Good morning, bud. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. And don't ever forget, I am the oldest son of the bitch on the show.
Yeah, but I said today, though. I said today.
But now you've got to give your title up to Chief because he's on the show right now.
All right. It's a little loophole like at Elimination Chamber, not in the Elimination Chamber. What's up, Chief?
Good morning, sir. Twinson and Rittner.
Yes, ECW, EC-Dub, EC-Dub. Swanson and Rittner is so special to professional wrestling, and if you don't know what that is out there, then I don't even know what to say.
I agree, and it'll be good to see you tonight.
Yes, sir.
I will be there, gentlemen. It's been a great show. Please enjoy the rest of it. I just wanted to call in real quick. Unfortunately, I got to pay taxes this year.
Oh.
It sucks.
Oh boy.
So that may be my rant next week. I don't know.
Call Erwin R. Shyster. He'll help you
I was
out.
just going to say that.
If he rants the government, we might have to shut him down.
So Chief has to turn in his money in the bank money.
There you go. Money in the bank money. Well,
I'll bring the money in the bank briefcase next week.
There you go.
It's going to be empty because he's got to pay taxes, right?
Chief,
I do have a serious one though. I would love sometime down the road to get you and Sam in studio. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anytime, man. Sam's great. He's a character.
Pay your taxes and lose pennies.
Yeah.
ask for your AARP discount on that payment.
Although I don't know if we have enough insurance that we could cover it though. I'm not sure.
Right on, bud. All right, well, sorry you have to pay like the rest of us or most of us this year. I know I have to.
Yeah, but Christ, I'm a senior citizen twice over.
Well, that's why you need to ask
You're
for
not
discount.
a senior citizen. You're the senior citizen.
Well, this is true. This is true. Hey,
There's going to be a
you
lot
guys
of
have
men.
a good rest of the show. I love you guys. Enjoy.
All right, man, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you, my friend.
Love you, Chief. See you
See ya.
tonight.
All right, let's go back to the list as we're down to about 13 minutes or so. Most improved wrestler, Britt Baker. Most underrated, Ricochet. Definitely agree with that one. Most overrated wrestler of the year, Bray Wyatt. I find that one interesting. Rookie of the year, Pat McAfee.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I agree, but Rookie of the Year, when he was really there for, a couple of pay-per-views and a TV showing? Year to me is a 12-month cycle, so I don't know. But I agree.
Who would you put in there?
I don't know. I'd have to have time.
Everyone
to
was
think
saying
about it.
Dominic, but he only wrestled a couple matches himself.
But he's been in the ring wrestling longer in this calendar year, I believe, than obviously Pat McAfee was. That's all. I mean, it's semantics, but I want to look for content.
Agreed.
To look at that. But again, a good choice in many different ways. Best non-wrestler, Taz. High Flyer of the Year, Ray Phoenix. Most charismatic wrestler, MJF. Technical wrestler of the year, Zack Sabre Jr. Move of the year, the One-Winged Angel. Angel. Feud of the year, Moxley versus Kingston. Worst feud of the year, Bray versus Braun Strowman. That swamp match was really worst gimmick of the year, The Fiend. And I find that very interesting. And best announcer of the year, Excalibur.
Yeah, both of those, I was like, really?
Yeah.
It should have said Aaron
TV
Phillips.
do you watch?
But, I mean, the worst? What are these people watching?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I wonder if I sometimes wonder if, a lot of things when we book things, we just want a reaction. We'll do crazy stuff. I sometimes wonder if they want the awards to be relevant. If you pick who everybody thinks you're going to pick, then it just kind of goes by. Like, best non-wrestler, Taz. You went right to the next one because how can you argue that? Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if they do.
I would put Joe Samo. I would put Samoa and Joe in there.
You could do that, but I think what I'm saying is that they sometimes put someone in there to go, wait, what? So that the awards can remain relevant. So it gives content.
That's true. That's true. All right. What do you say we do some birthdays? Shall we celebrate some birthdays, Mr. Matt?
Yes, let's do it.
I'm just going to throw Matt out there.
Like
right, exactly.
We got Aaron squared and Matt squared.
There you go. We got two pair here.
Awesome.
If we were playing at a poker table, what would two pair get us?
Right.
So, all right. So if you are celebrating, first of all, happy birthday. If you're celebrating a birthday from today through next Friday, and you are celebrating. Jeez, and this is the first of 3 shows today. You are celebrating a birthday with these former or current wrestlers. Ricky Steamboat, again, one of the classic wrestlers. Everybody talks about him and Randy Savage, that classic match.
Stole the show.
Yeah.
Such a cool guy.
Norman Smiley, who now is making a name for himself as a teacher.
Yeah,
right? Down at the Performance Center.
Yeah.
Masato Tanaka, Lance Hoyt.
I love Lance Hoyt.
One great announcer also, Mike Tenay.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
great.
The professor.
Yeah. Booker T.
Five time.
Can you do a spin-a-rooney?
No.
Have you ever tried a spin-a-rooney?
No, but
Well,
I have. In a show in Houston, he did give me the axe kick to the back. Of
Oh,
the
did
head.
he?
Yeah.
Scott's story
awesome.
of Booker T is still the funniest thing ever.
Well, do you remember what it was?
Yeah, he dropped Booker T off after signing at the airport, and Scott went back to his car, and he's like, "What the hell's on my car?" He left the WCW World Heavyweight title on top of his car.
Oh, my God.
So he had to run back through the gate and be like, "Hey, did you forget something?" He's like, "Oh, shit."
Oh my God.
Jeez. That's crazy. Well, that can't be any worse than when Jericho lost his belt after winning it, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
I mean, or taken from him, whatever.
Taken from him. It was
Jeez
stolen.
Louise.
Yeah.
Big E, Tennille Dashwood, Kyle, you're right, exactly. Kyle O'Reilly, PJ Black, Dalton Castle, and Jordan Grace. And once again, happy birthday to all you folks in the wrestling industry. And again, happy birthday to all of you in the coming week from today through next Friday. Do you realize today's the last show of February? It's a short month, but still, we're 2 months into the new year already.
But remember, the lockdowns and all these provisions were only for 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah, it's been the longest march
Longest
of
2
our
weeks
lives.
I've had. Sorry, I had to say
No,
that.
you're right. Time stands still. So anyway, so happy birthday to all of those folks. Now, we have time to get into some pop culture. This is where, as we've seen our friend John Cena on our commercial, that thoughts count anywhere. They really do.
Yeah.
Thoughts do count anywhere. So we're going to have some fun with some pop culture topics. The first one, I want to skip the first one first, as I think the second one will lead a little more conversation. Last week, Tuesday, I believe it was, the sports world and really general media, Tiger Woods and that car crash in California. Wow. Lucky to be alive from what reports are. Lucky he had a seatbelt on. But what was your guys' reaction to hearing the news?
I assumed it was some kind of DUI or something. Honestly.
That's what I was. I didn't want to be the first to say that.
He's gotten in like so much trouble for doing dumb shit that I just assumed he did something dumber.
Well, and I thought, and to be honest with you, I was waiting for the report of a mistress in the car or something like that. And, I'm just glad it didn't, it wasn't. I know this sounds silly to say, but I'm just glad it wasn't worse because it could have been so much worse.
When you look at the front end of the
when
car.
You look at it, it looks like it wasn't a Jane Mansfield type of thing or a James Dean type of thing. Thank God, he's alive, he'll recover, and he's still sober. That's what I really
We have a picture of it up there. They say he missed a tree and some median or some heavy duty fencing by like inches.
Yeah.
That God forbid and as you see, thank God the airbags deployed. Mm-hmm. He had his belt on. Yes, major surgery. I don't think we'll see Tiger for a while.
No.
But what's interesting, you go back to the comment that you made earlier, or I don't know who said it, one moment in time changes everything.
Oh, yeah.
When did his life really change? And that was the first issue he had with his wife or girlfriend at the time.
Yep.
When
and
all
like
of that
13 mistresses came out or whatever.
When all of that started, that's when the decline of what we knew prior to that of Tiger Woods to what we now physically, back surgeries and all that aside. That to me, that was really his one point in time that's really changed everything for him.
Oh, yeah.
I guess his leg broke so bad he's got a bunch of rods and pins and stuff in there. So if he comes back to golf and he's not sponsored by Home Depot,
maybe what he does, maybe he just swings
doing it wrong.
Maybe he swings his leg. Maybe they put a 9-iron in his leg, and he takes his foot. He takes his foot off
for the
and
putter.
puts a new foot on.
He could use his foot just as the putter as is with a shoe on. I like it. Home Depot sponsoring this.
Sponsor.
I like it. That's like a get smart kind of
We're
thing
going
right
to
there.
hell, you know.
That's
that,
right. We are.
See you there.
That's right. That's right. So
I'll have a beer waiting for you.
in all
one of the
seriousness,
religious dudes on Fremont was like, "You're going to hell for whatever I told him," and I
really?
was like, "I already have lava front property. Don't worry about it." He didn't know what the hell to say.
they had my reservation. But seriously, though, get well, Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
We wish you the best to get better. Mm-hmm. Oh no! Look what he just look at. This is our producer.
See, that's what
Did you
Send
just
all
do that?
hate mail
You
to
didn't
Go
know.
Live Vegas Studio.
So someone already came up with that?
That's a meme. Somebody put that together.
That is amazing.
Oh my God! I don't know what to
But
say.
see, like I said, and he could take it off like Inspector Gadget.
Right. That's what I was thinking of.
Go
Not Get Smart.
Gadget 9-iron.
Or he'd be his own transformer. Right. He could be a Okay. Anyway.
Maybe if he can make something else down there transform, he wouldn't get in so much trouble.
No, that would have to be renamed The Man in the Iron Mask. He'd have to be locked away to never come out again. See how we go off the rails so easily. I'm surprised we waited this long.
We went off the rails like his car went off the rails.
Oh. Yeah, but thank God we didn't get hurt and we have no seatbelt on. So that's a good thing. All right. I didn't know about this first one, though, until I read that the dogs were found. So why don't you take the pleasure
Yeah.
of telling us the first
I
one?
saw the video. It's something out of a movie. The guy was walking Lady Gaga's dogs. I guess she's in Italy filming a movie or something. And this car just pulls up and you hear the clack of a gun. And he's like, help, help. And they shoot him 4 times and take her dogs.
What? 2 of the 3, though.
One of them got away.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I guess she was so distraught, she offered a $500,000 reward. She goes, I just want my dogs back.
Right.
And some lady turned them into the LAPD, and she got her dogs back. But
Really?
They haven't got
There
the
you go.
shooters yet.
There's a picture
But
of that.
why, here, Mike? But what, I wonder what that. I mean, I hate to say this. Is it not a lot in life is random. I'm wondering what that guy was mixed up in, or she was mixed up in, because they don't just execute people.
They think it was like a ransom thing. Like, how would you even figure out that was Lady Gaga's
Yeah.
dogs?
Well, obviously they were watching him for a while.
Oh, I'm sure it was planned.
And when she's out, filming.
Yeah.
they
Didn't you
usually-
see Ocean's 11?
I've been in that tunnel.
We have about 2 minutes left, so let's quickly go through these big to-do this week on social media about the movie Grease. Did you see this? Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see the post on my wall?
There's snowflakes everywhere.
It is crazy that people are bashing this movie that's, 30 years old by now, maybe a little more, right? Late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
John Travolta and what's her face? Why am I blank?
Olivia Newton-John.
Thank you. Why am I blank? My wife had the tail end of the movie on when I left my house.
Do you know what's worse
What's
than
that?
sweat on Olivia Newton-John?
I'm afraid to.
Come on, Eileen, and I said I love you.
My wife's going to be calling you.
What's she going to be calling me?
Off the air. She's going to call you, you bastard.
No, I'm
You're
sorry.
fired.
I'm
No,
sorry. I'm
no.
sorry.
But yeah, I mean, come on, folks. We don't have anything better to worry about than thinking that the Grease movie, as if I remember the title, said it was rapey, misogynistic, and I think there was one other character. Don't people get a life? I mean, really.
It's a musical that's set in the 50s. I don't
Right.
know what.
And it's funny because I've seen it all over TV over the last couple of days on different channels. It being shown. There you go. There's our stars, Mr. Dimple.
Yeah.
And this movie came out right after he started with Welcome Back, Kotter, which
Right.
really launched his career. Stockard Channing was in that movie. I was looking at the cast list this morning. It was a great start for everybody.
Has anybody interviewed them and asked or are they just staying away from
I
it?
haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah,
I've not
'cause,
seen.
if I were them, I would just be like, why even? I wouldn't even dignify it.
Well, John Travolta and his daughter did about a little commercial part of a Scott Lawn Care commercial for Super Bowl where they were doing the hand jive.
Yeah,
dance.
yeah.
They made a big to-do about that, and they were in the commercial for like 5 seconds together,
boy.
But, I mean, he's still obviously supportive of it because he's
Yep.
doing the hand jive.
Oh, yeah.
Last topic, shocking news. Overnight, like the Colts, like the Browns leaving Cleveland overnight, Fry's department stores literally overnight closing down 400 stores, I think it was,
Yeah.
whatever it was across the country. Boom, done, thank you very much.
That's crazy. If they would have had some kind of closeout sale or something, I would have rated that.
Well,
place.
did employees just? I kept thinking about, did employees just show up and like, oh wait, I guess I don't have.
Oh,
a
the
job.
door's locked. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, or did they have some sort of warning and you can't say anything? I mean, it just seems weird that like
it's
you
a
would
great
just
question.
do it
I would
like
hope
that.
they had some kind of warning, and that's a real messed up thing to do.
Now, one of the
Yeah.
reasons is being stated
Head
for all the online purchasing through
Yeah.
Amazon and whatnot. Now, in conjunction with that, Best Buy
Mm-hmm.
laid off 4,000 employees across the country and also will be looking to close stores.
The Amazon showroom.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so I guess you can still buy stuff maybe online from these companies, but as far as and people love Fry's because
Yeah.
no matter where you go, like in Cali, they have themed stores.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So again, the nature. Listen, I remember talking growing up when cashiers in food stores. You weren't going to need cashiers now because you're starting to scan your own stuff and everything's going to be automated. We're seeing it. How many self-check store lines do we see in our stores now? And Best Buy and Fry's, everything's online. Going to Amazon.
I honestly can say I don't remember the last time I went through a checkout line and saw a person other than and then I can't remember the last time I bought electronics in a store. I hate to say it, and I'm part of the problem if that is a problem.
Last time I bought electronics, it was off a truck. I don't know if that means
Now
didn't
they're
work
coming
very
out
well.
with,
There's pieces in there.
Now they're trying to open convenience stores downtown that are like cashierless.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a trend we're seeing where it's
Have
just
you-
simply do it ourselves.
Real quick, have you been to Japan?
I have not.
They have entire vending machines
Of
where
women.
you can get anything.
Of women.
Yeah,
Right.
Well, and anything now.
Well, welcome to Carvana. We have that here too.
Yeah, right.
Shivana.
Yep.
Anyway, the Fiend is letting us know our time is up. Just a quick reminder at the bottom of the hour, join me for Rise of the Fan, episode number 2, the show that's all about supporting sports fans and their thoughts and issues and concerns with sports. Myself and Brett Lawson. Mr. Matt, thoughts as we say goodbye?
Everybody have a good week. Thanks, Matt, for coming in. It was awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you. Now, on our way out, do me a favor. Give me a best heel promo to say goodbye to everybody. I'm Aaron Phillips. Join us next week.
So, everybody, this is the MK Bandit. Don't be a mark. That was terrible.
I'm glad you said it. Anyway, have a great week, everybody. Be kind to everybody. Why? We're all we have. We'll see you next week on Thoughts Count Anywhere.